Welcome back, friends. Coach here with another week of trick tips to get you rolling and riding. This week, we're talking about Coach's favorite riding style. That's right, we're gonna skate some transition. We're gonna talk about your basics today, pumping and kick turns on the ramp. So, make sure you're stretched out and ready to ride. Let's get it. So, as I mentioned, we're gonna talk about pump to fakie first. That's when we ride up a ramp using our knees to push, there's the pump, and we're coming back down backwards, that's the fakie. Couple things that you should know before trying your pump to fakie. Thing number one, it's a little scary, that's okay. We wanna lean into that fear, fear will keep us alive, but we wanna stay relaxed. So, accept that we might fall and move on. Rule number two with pump to fakie, speed control. We don't want to be learning new tricks at breakneck speeds, but we also don't want to err on the other end of that spectrum. If we're moving too slow, we're more likely to get caught up in the transition from ground to ramp. So find a nice moderate speed that's going to carry you up the ramp and back down. But again, starting out, don't go too high. It's going to be a little scarier. Rule number three. We're gonna bend our knees. As we approach the ramp, we want our feet in ready position, and we're gonna bend our knees accordingly to absorb the transition from flat ground onto the ramp. The last and most important rule, this applies to all of skateboarding, you're gonna go wherever you're looking. So, as you approach the top of the ramp, or wherever you start to lose speed, before shifting your weight to come back down, I wanna make sure you're turning your head. And I don't want to see us looking at our feet. If we look at the ground, it's where we're going to go. So again, as you roll up the ramp and slow down to a stop, pivot that head and look out and beyond, and you're going to ride right back down that ramp safely. Now that we got a feel for the ramp, we can start to look at those kick turns. Just as a reminder, or if you haven't watched our tutorial on kick turns, it's important to note that we're not leaning forward or back during these kick turns. We're simply initiating the turn by pointing our front shoulder, and we're allowing the board to come up on its back wheels by bending our front knee. Now, as we approach kick turning on the ramps, things are gonna feel a little different than flat land, and that's okay. There's two main ways that you can start practicing your kick turns, a two-part turn and a one-part turn. We're gonna start today off with the two-part turn, as that's how old Coach learned this trick, and it seems to be working out fine for him. So, get yourself ready on the ramp, front foot on those bolts, ready to push off. You're gonna do a couple pumps back and forth to make sure you're comfortable with the rhythm of the ramp and your feet are in the right place. As you approach that wall, I wanna see you early, before you're on the ramp, turning that front shoulder, and we're gonna try to kick turn approximately 90 degrees. If we can get that kick turn perfectly horizontal on the ramp, we're gonna have a rest moment there where we can recollect ourselves and do a second kick turn the other 90 degrees back down the ramp. Kick turns can be difficult and intimidating, so we're gonna troubleshoot some of the common problems. Often our old friend commitment is gonna rear its ugly head, and that's gonna get in the way of you landing this trick. So, as you're approaching the ramp, remember, fully commit that shoulder, twisting in the middle, and it's gonna help give you the power to make that turn. Secondly, you wanna make sure you're getting that first kick turn a full 90 degrees. Underturning is gonna cause us to wanna roll back fakie. Overturning is not gonna give us that rest period for our second kick turn. So again, commit to half of your turn, the other half of your turn. Stay patient, work through it. If you've mastered your two-part kick turn or decided to just skip over it entirely, good news, we're gonna talk about the single pivot kick turn now. Very similar to the two-step turn, we wanna preload our front shoulder, committing it in the direction we wish to turn, bending our front knee, but instead of the two-stepper, we're gonna wanna put a little extra oomph in that shoulder, and we want that rotation to go all the way around. Now, there's two different styles of learning this kick turn. One might be better for you, one might be better for me. I'm not here to judge. But the two different approaches we call straight lines or horseshoes. So, when you're approaching that ramp, consider, are you trying to make a big horseshoe turn, or are you gonna go straight up, swing that shoulder, pivot right back down? The more comfortable you get with kick turns, the more you'll be able to pick and choose depending on the ramps you're riding. But for the sake of learning, go ahead and test one out. If it doesn't work, try the other one. Again, folks learn at incredibly different rates with incredibly different styles. Find one that suits you, and we're gonna break down those one-part turns right now. All right, talking about the straight line kick turn, we're gonna push off again, looking where we wanna go, getting our feet set, And we're going straight at the ramp. Swing that shoulder all the way back down. Again, the more shoulder you throw, the easier that kick turn is gonna be. All right, so maybe you find yourself trying those kick turns and you're thinking, wow, coach, thanks for nothing. I can't get it figured out. That's all right. It's misdirected anger. We're gonna move on. Common troubleshooting problems with the kick turn are staying comfortable as we're on an inclined surface. It's common human nature to panic when we think we might die, but in the art of skateboarding, we want to learn to hush that little voice, stay relaxed, trust in the process, and just like you went up, gravity's gonna bring you right back down. So stay cool when you're going up that ramp, and if you're focused on one thing, focus on that shoulder, because again, the further you twist in the middle, the more power that turn is gonna have. Now you may find yourself asking, Coach, what about frontside turns? That's right, they're an option as well. We here at Alchemy have found that backside kick turns on the ramp are generally easier to commit to as you have a clearer field of vision for where you're turning, but frontside turns are just as important, if not more so. So, same approach, point that shoulder rather than backside, open it up front side, stay relaxed on the ramp, trust in the process, bend your front knee, let the board come around and get that kick turn. Again, a 2-step might be easier for you to learn, a 1-step might be faster. It's totally up to you. Just make sure you're staying focused on where you're looking and you're gonna get those frontside kick turns. All right, frontside turns, front foot on the bolts, push off. Turning that head, making sure our feet are where we want them, and as we approach, turn halfway, all the way. And again, reset. And if we want to do a 1-motion kick turn, really swing that and let the board come all the way back around. Just like the backside kick turns, we can choose a horseshoe or a straight line. The choice is yours. Work with what feels good. And remember to enjoy yourself.